The Ugly Duckling. Written by Teresa Heapy. Illustrated by Adam Record. Once upon a time, there was a mother duck. In the spring, she made a nest. She had 6 eggs in her nest. No, she had 7 eggs. And the 7th egg was much larger than the rest. One by one, Mother Duck's eggs began to hatch. Crack, crack, crack. One by one, 6 little ducklings peered out, but the big egg stayed still. Finally, the big egg began to crack. Crack, 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 crack. A very ugly duckling popped out. The other ducklings were very surprised. They didn't like this new duckling. They thought he looked very different from them. The 6 little ducklings were not very kind. They laughed at the ugly duckling. "You aren't small or yellow or fluffy," they said. "You're big and grey and ugly." The ugly duckling felt very sad. "Nobody loves me," he said. "I'm big and grey and ugly." So one day, he ran away. Summer arrived. It was hot, and the sun shone brightly on the pond. The ugly duckling met a frog. "What a funny duckling you are," said the frog. "You're big and grey and ugly." The ugly duckling felt very sad. Then autumn arrived. It was cold, and the wind blew leaves onto the pond. The ugly duckling met a beaver. "What a funny duckling you are," said the beaver. "You're big and grey and ugly." The ugly duckling felt sadder still. Then winter arrived. It was freezing cold, and there was ice on the pond. The ugly duckling was all alone. "Nobody loves me," he said. "I will stay on my own so nobody can laugh at me." But the ugly duckling was changing. He was getting bigger. With every day, his neck got longer and his feathers began to change color. Spring arrived again. The ugly duckling peeped through the reeds and saw some swans swimming on the pond. "How wonderful they look," he said to himself. "I wish I was a swan and not an ugly duckling, all big and grey and ugly." He moved out of the reeds to take a closer look. Suddenly, one of the swans said, "Look, it's the one we lost." "I don't understand," said the ugly duckling. "I'm not a swan." "Yes, you are," one of the swans said. Look in the water." So he looked, and he said, "It's true. I am a swan." And so the ugly duckling realized he had been a cygnet all along, just waiting to turn into a big, white, and beautiful swan. He went to live with the family of swans. Mother Duck swam by one day with her 6 squabbling ducklings and thought,
What a wonderful swan!
Retell the story. Once upon a time, the end.